Hey, good morning, everybody. I know it's Monday. I forgot to speak about stocks and sichot. I just want to speak a little bit about the markets. The U.S. government just, somehow was able to spend another $1 trillion. So I think that the numbers right now, every 100 days, there's going to be another $1 trillion worth of debt that this country is going through. We have, but you could say that, well, wait, so we have $400 billion in tariffs coming in every single year, which is a drop in the bucket relative to the amount of money we're spending on interest, trying to pay back the deficit. So what does this all mean, Mamaaseh? This means as follows. It means that the markets will keep going up, right? Because what ends up happening is that as the government has to print more money to pay its debt, it means the dollar itself is worth less. So as the dollar is being debased because of reshoring and America wants to go back into industrialization, it wants to be manufacturing and so on and so forth, we have to make the dollar weaker, so other people want to buy from us and so on and so forth, which means the only way to go ahead and protect your money is in assets. The major assets that we have today is real estate, stocks, commodities, gold, silver, and now we have like Bitcoin, right? Those are the four major places to keep your money. You leave your money in cash, it's going to be eviscerated. You want to make sure that you have money. You'll see all your property this year is going to go up a lot, right? The more and more, because if you think about it, what's going to be happening is, up until now, this has been an issue for the last 40 years, right? The fact that the deficits were so high. But the way we solved it over the last 40 years is bringing down the interest rates. And therefore we kicked down the issue later and later and later. We could afford to pay the debt, so don't worry about it. But now we're actually at a point where even if we lower the interest rates, which is, it's high right now, right? Relative to where it was like 5 years ago, if we're going to lower it, what's going to be happening is the market's going to go up again because now there's more money and people are going to invest more into the economy, but it's going to say things happen, more printing money, less. You want to go ahead and figure out a way of making sure that your funds are invested in some type of a real asset. You want your money working for you. You don't want to be working for your money. So which ones? What stocks today? I'm still bullish on Tesla. I think Tesla's going to pop this week. Tesla, PLTR, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta are my big winner picks for now. If you have DCA, dollar cost average into those stocks every single day, buy a little bit, don't worry about it, keep it for 10, 15 years, you'll be protected from the 7% of deflation that's happening to your money every single year. Have a great day. Oh, continue listening because after this is my class on Shabbat. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Rav Dessler. Okay, so we are in the middle of talking about Shabbat. And last we spoke, we said that that part of what we're trying to do in the essence of Shabbat is to draw Shabbat into the week itself, right? So we're not interested in just waiting to experience the Shabbat, but we could actually take elements of the Shabbat and bring it with us into our day-to-day lives, right? So actually, my son Judah asked me, he's like, how do I do that? How do I bring Shabbat into my day-to-day life? What does that mean for me? He's 14 years old. So I said to him that, for him, the way he could bring Shabbat into the week is when he does Shnai Mikra V'Echad Targum, when he's preparing the Parsha, he's doing that in preparation for Shabbat. When you're, some of the Tefillot, Hayom Yom, Sheni, Yom Shabbat Kodesh, you're thinking about Shabbat. You're going to go ahead and buy something during the week. You want to buy that for Shabbat. You could do things every single day and try to, kind of bring it closer to Shabbat. So Rav Dessler says as follows. He says, in view of all of this, it may seem incongruous that the rabbis require us to honor Shabbat not only with prayer, Torah, and song, but also with good food, fine linen, and bright lights. All definitely physical attractions. They learned this from the words of the prophet Yeshayahu, and you shall call Shabbat Oneg, a pleasure, and give honor to God's holy day. Pleasure here means physical pleasure, as the rabbis explain. So it's not for us to think about Shabbat as this complete time of spirituality, but also this elevated time of physicality. Because the core of what Shabbat really wants, it wants us to elevate the material into something that is spiritual. And this is a very difficult concept, I think, for most non-Jews to understand, that we believe that materialism and physical things can have holiness in them. That I can wear a Rolex on Shabbat because that's how I'm being Mekadesh Shabbat. If I'm buying the Rolex because I'm not wearing one. But if you're buying the Rolex not because you want to flex, you want to have that materialism on you because it gives you confidence, there's something wrong with you, right? That's not the purpose of that gashmiut. But you can take the gashmiut and elevate something more. When we moved to the Five Towns, we bought a house with lots of bedrooms. And the reason why we were excited about it is because, wow, we could host so many more people. right? We want to do the mitzvah of hachnas l'orchim. We like having guests. We love having people in our home. We like sharing ideas and so on and so forth. That motivation of that purchase of that home was for what? Was for Shabbat. Because people are not coming during the week and spending a weeknight with you. They're coming on a Shabbat where they're completely focused on you. So you could create a home, a beautiful home that is ginormous, right? And it's all there for this Shabbat experience. You can elevate the material into something that is spiritual. On the other hand, the Zohar says that Oneg refers to the spiritual delight of being close to God. The Zohar doesn't say it's about elevating the material. He's saying, no, it's this complete spiritual reality. There is no contradiction, of course. The essence of Shabbat is spiritual joy and serenity. But we are human beings. And it is human nature to express one's joy with food and drink and fine clothing. But these means, by these means, we reinforce in ourselves the honor due to the spirituality of Shabbat. The holiness of Shabbat is so great that it can absorb these physical pleasures and others too into the sphere of spirituality. That is the magnitude of the spirituality of Shabbat. It is this transformation of bodily activity into the sphere of holiness, which is the hallmark of Olam Haba. We say Shabbat is Me'en Olam. Shabbat is this expression of Olam Haba, right? Which is what we want. We want this other realm of reality to exist at some point. This world where all of your needs are being met, all of your physical needs, all of your spiritual needs are being met. And we believe that Shabbat is an expression of that, right? Well, think about it. Well, what do you do on Shabbat? You're not cooking. All the food is already taken care of. All the lights are set. All the prayers are already organized. Then you have some free time. What are you doing with it? If you're wasting it away and you don't use that time to mamash have Oneg Shabbat, singing songs, learning Divrei Torah, sharing spiritual ideas, thinking introspectively, reviewing some of the most amazing ideas you learned during the week, you are missing out on what true Oneg Shabbat is. Right? That's what Shabbat wants. That's what Hashem wants. The blessing of Shabbat. In Bereshit, we read that God blessed Shabbat day. But the blessing means expansion. The bracha itself means to expand. And Shabbat is not about expansion. We said last week that Shabbat is about being. The work week is about becoming, expansionism. Shabbat is about being. So, but there's a bracha that comes to Shabbat, and brachot are expansive by nature. So he says as follows. He says that, but blessings means expansion, ultimate expansion of opportunities for spiritual progress. And a day is limited amount of time. So how can a day be blessed? One second. He's asking a question here. He says, but blessing means expansion, unlimited expansion of opportunities for spiritual progress, question mark, right? That expansionism must be talking about spiritual opportunities, not Gashmi opportunities. And more than that, a day is a limited amount of time, so how can a day be blessed? When a day itself is constrained by time. If a bracha means expansiveness, right, unlimited expansion, a day is limited in time, then the day itself limits the expansion, therefore you can't be a full expansionist, a full level of expansionism. This is how he answers it. He says, Shabbat brings us a sense of closeness to God. It is above time. The more a person appreciates the essence of Shabbat, the closer he is to transcending the boundaries of every day. If he experiences real pleasure in the realm of the spirit, no limit can be set to this progression. The real blessing of Shabbat is the expansion of one's consciousness from preoccupation with the trivialities of this world to immersion in the spiritual world. This is the inheritance without bounds, which is promised to the one who takes pleasure in Shabbat. Here too, we forge a link to Olam Haba. So that is what Shabbat is in a nutshell. Shabbat is our ability to go ahead and expand our consciousness infinitely, a world where the conscious is the bridge between the material and the spiritual. And in that bridge, we're able to go ahead and bring down godliness through how? Through the practice of what Shabbat is, the resting of Shabbat, which is, again, the antithesis of expansionism. The rest of Shabbat is a state of being, and in that state of being, your consciousness expands to the point where you're able to pull down the spirituality. And the spirituality, my friends, is what nourishes the material. Everything in the physical world is an expression of Hashem's Ratzon. And therefore, the more I can expand my consciousness to include the connection to the spirit world, I'm able to infuse the material world with that spirit and bring God into this world. That, my friends, is the world of Olam Haba. B'ezras Hashem, we'll speak about the secret tomorrow. Have a great day.